So all these tariffs, what are they really designed to do? And we know, right? We now know it's designed to bring back manufacturing to the US. And as I said earlier in the show, that is going to be very difficult. And I actually have a quote here. I'll read it. The US remains the second largest manufacturing country in the world today, but its global dominance has been well and truly lost. Over the last 50 years, manufacturing share of GDP in the US has shrunk from 27% to just 12%. And the starting point of this decline began well before this current time period that we're in now. So the US remains still a manufacturing power globally, but you can see by this quote and by this data that they're nowhere near what they used to be. Our first chart shows this, shows manufacturing industry as a share of nominal GDP or growth. And you can see how much it's come down just in the last, well, let's call it 50 years, since the 70s, 80s, and it continues to fall. So yes, if you compare it to others, perhaps the exception of maybe China, US is number 2. I'm going to guess China is number 1. And, they continue to be number 2, but obviously not as much manufacturing done in the US as it used to be. Our next chart, US employment in manufacturing. You can see here, this goes from January 1939 to June 2019. And you can see it once was a lot higher. Employment in the manufacturing space, much higher. In the last 10, 15 years, it's actually gone up, which is good to see. I'm sure the president is happy with that, but he wants to see more. And it is very difficult just to turn a switch or flip a switch and think you can become a manufacturing powerhouse again. The economy in the US has gone from manufacturing, like back in the 70s, to a services economy. And we see that with our next chart. We can put that up. Contributions to percent change by industry group, GDP 2024. I know it might be difficult to see the left-hand side, but the right-hand side, all those yellow bars, that is private services. That is services economy. The blue are goods, production. So you can see construction, durable goods manufacturing, mining, agriculture, forestry. But these are all small things. What's at the top? Real estate and rental, leasing, professional, scientific, and technical services. These are healthcare and social assistance. This is what the US economy has become, a services economy. To bring back manufacturing will be extremely difficult. It's going to take a lot longer than the president has. His term is up in less than 4 years. I know there's talk. He's been talking that he wants to stick around for another 4 years, and we'll have to see if he's able to do that. But according to the law, that's not going to happen. So these things are going to take many, many years, and they're going to happen a lot long after President Trump is in the White House. Again, another great chart that we have today just pretty much encapsulates why it's so expensive and why manufacturing has left the United States. Why is it so expensive? There you have it. Average salaries comparing US, China, Vietnam. Look how high the salaries are in the US on the left-hand side. That's for machine operator salary, production worker salary. Look how much higher. So if you can hire someone for a quarter of the cost, a tenth of the cost that you would hire someone for in the United States, how can a product be anything more than more expensive in the US to produce it? On the right-hand side, average salaries in selected countries for production managers and supervisors. Look on the far left, the green. That's the United States. United Kingdom, not far behind, the Western world, followed by Germany, Spain, France. But once you get down, Thailand, China, Brazil, Malaysia, Mexico is one of the lowest here on our chart. How can you possibly compete? How are you going to bring back manufacturing to the United States when the costs that go into building a product are so much more? And by just tariffing everything coming into your country, the equipment, the pieces, the individual components that go into making a car or whatever you're making, if those are now 25% more expensive, well, your pricing is still just a lot higher. So bringing back manufacturing to the US, I believe, is going to be a lot more difficult than President Trump believes it's going to be. Even though we are seeing some businesses opening up factories in the US, I think it's going to take a lot more years or many more years than what the president has under his current term.